Network Entertainment.
Hello and welcome to our newest show that we are calling Hanash, which is actually short for Hoy, ano sinasabi mo?
We wanted to start having more conversations outside of the context of Drag Race kasi nga we are and we have been a seasonal offering podcast. Pag meron kaming very exciting pinakabagong Talk of the Town Drag Race season, tsaka kami lumalabas, mabalik. But marami pa kaming kabaklaan outside of Drag Race.
Correct. Marami pa kaming Hanash outside
Correct.
Drag Race. And ang Hanash namin this week is about healing the inner child. QSFX. Ano yung mga keywords when you try to heal the inner child? Joy.
Introspection.
Reflection. Therapy shopping. Galing!
Parang as the resident psychologist,
Correct.
people have dubbed me the resident psychologist. And, well, it's true. I have been to a lot of, self-work healing, a lot of therapy sessions. The therapy talk has rubbed off on me and nilalabas ko talaga siya on a daily basis.
Correct. Kumbaga, itong Hanash na to is, if you can't therapy yourself, how are you gonna therapy somebody else? So, yun po talaga yung ginagawa namin.
Correct.
So we're doing like healing the inner child. I think it's a term that is used a lot na now.
Yes.
And I think, thank God, we're getting a lot of language and a lot of conversations about mental health. But to you, what is, when you hear healing the inner child, ano ang unang pumapasok sa utak mo?
For me kasi parang us as people in general, but also as queer people, we grow up with learning a lot of shame about ourselves. We grow up having to kind of suppress or hide or be shameful about certain parts of us. And I think parang that's such a deep root into adult problems that we have now. Parang a lot of self-esteem issues, self-worth issues that we experience now as adults kind of root back from those instances in childhood. And I think, parang we kind of have to parent our inner child.
Amen.
Parang kailangan natin ibigay yung siguro love, nurture sa inner child natin in order for us as people to grow beyond those traumas.
And I think siguro maybe nung college ako, I kept waiting for like a big Superman moment to happen to me. Like for somebody to save me. That I will find this I don't know, this career or this tribe.
Correct.
Na pag nahanap ko sila, like everything will fall into place. And I think eventually na-realize, actually like, Superman is not gonna come to get me.
Yes.
I am the only one who's going to save myself. And medyo nakaka-disillusion siya sa start, but I think eventually it can be quite liberating and empowering because ma-realize mo, I am accountable for myself. I am in charge of my own happiness. So dun for me nagsimula yung pag-heal ng inner child ko.
And yun nga, parang it's not an overnight thing kasi. Parang,
Not at all.
actually, you kind of are stuck with having to heal your inner child for the rest of your adult life.
Amen.
Ano talaga siya, parang it takes a while din eh. It takes a lot of introspection, a lot of looking back at your childhood, a lot of unlocking things that you've kind of boxed into, yung mga baul in the back of your head never to be remembered. You kind of have to start opening up those memories, those thoughts, tsaka mo lang connect the dots na kaya siguro ako ganto now kasi ito yung na-experience ko noon.
It's great that you bring that up because I think in talking about healing the inner child, we can't help but talk about childhood trauma. I mean, we don't want to make this like parang a trauma bonding. We want to make this as parang as positive as we can, but we do have to talk about it. I think a big part of my childhood trauma is really attached to my queer identity, meaning how other people tried to relate, understand, process my queerness during a time that they didn't even know that was queerness. So yung palang, mahirap na yun, diba? So I think that resulted in a lot of my joys, the things that I love to do, the things that bring me happiness. A lot of it really talagang were invalidated. Kasi nga I had to grow up in it's a patriarchal society.
Yes.
We're a predominantly Catholic country. So the social and the political even, I think, plays into the kind of trauma we bring with us. Kaya etong ngayong matanda na ako, yung trabaho ko of being a comedian, producing queer shows, and doing sketch comedy, lahat to healing the inner child. Because ito yung feeling kong mga happy moments, joyful treasures nung bata ako na neglect ko, and now, hindi ko lang sila ino-honor, pinagkakakitaan ko pa sila.
Correct. Tama. Ako din, parang I always say na, to sum up my drag aesthetic is healing the inner child. Kasi ako naman parang, though I did grow up in a, hindi naman sobrang laking family, but I grew up with both my parents, a guardian, 3 older siblings. Ano kasi ako, latak ako sa family. It was, ang age gap namin na sister ko na sinundan ko is 8 years. So, I spent a lot of my childhood alone.
Okay.
Kasi, syempre, yung parents ko, they were sending 4 kids to school all at the same time.
They were grinding.
Yes, exactly. So, both my parents were very busy with the family business. Even my guardian was kind of busy with the other kids, busy helping my parents out with the business. I spent a lot of my childhood alone. I spent a lot of my childhood self-soothing. Ano nga ako parang nakakatawa, na-unlock yan recently na I think Gen Zs or millennials na pag sinabihan kang independent ng bata, it means you had a lonely childhood.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
that is not a compliment.
Yes. I had a very independent childhood and a lot of my self-soothing methods ng bata ako was cartoons, was TV, was watching anime, playing video games, drawing, playing by myself. So a lot of that now, a lot of the inspiration I had nung bata ako, I was always drawn to the unapologetic, either like super soft, hyper feminine characters or like the super maangas, like femme fatale characters. They are my biggest inspirations for drag. Kasi kumbaga, I'm healing my inner child through being the characters that became my companions.
Wow, pretty powerful stuff. But I guess ang tanong ko rin, in healing the inner child, I think there is an awakening that needs to happen.
Yes.
That there's actually a child that needs to be healed. So I guess, naaalala mo ba, kailan mo na-realize, ay, meron pala akong mga parts na kailangan kong mahalin unconditionally, radically. Was this pretty recent? Or saan nanggaling itong wealth of wisdom, kung baga?
I think the first time I ever kind of saw the inner child, parang first time ko na-recognize that there is this hurt inner child in me was, bata pa lang ako, I excelled, I was pretty good in school. I got a lot of recognition, honors when I was like grade school, high school. Coming into college, syempre parang nag-shift na yung priorities mo eh. Hindi ka na lang puro academics. I was starting to focus more on like org work. I was starting to become more social, trying to put myself out there a bit more. And in that process, syempre may, when you get new priorities, some priorities you start to neglect a little bit. And I wasn't doing as well in school as I was in like high school and grade school. And nagkakaroon ako ng academic anxiety. And there was one point na I kind of had to, yung tipong parang nagkaka-anxiety attacks na ako because of schoolwork and I couldn't do anything. And then it took like a few sessions with a guidance counselor there na parang, where does this pressure to excel come from? I realized na nung bata ako, ginagamit ko siyang barter system for attention.
Oh, wow! Like, specifics, like how?
As
to whom?
Kasi nga, yun, I had 3 older siblings and my parents were always busy. And napapansin ko na when I did something good in school, I was showered with praise, I was showered with love, I was able to ask for para certain rewards. Kasi ano rin ako para my family is also very practical. Meron kaming allowance and yun lang yung pera bibigay nila. They won't give us gifts or anything. And the only time I could ask for something I wanted was if, kunyari, uwi ako may honor. May certificate na first honor ka in class. So, excelling in school became kind of like my barter system for love and affection in the house. Not naman saying na neglectful yung parents ko, pero ganun talaga yung circumstance namin eh. So, nung college, nagkaroon ako ng academic anxiety kasi I wasn't excelling anymore. Kumbaga, feeling ko, shit, di na ako mamahalin. Parang may di naman not verbatim exactly, pero parang subconsciously, meron kang ganung pressure na, shit, baka hindi na ako mahalin, hindi na sila proud sa akin pag hindi na ako nag-excel in academics.
Sobrang wala lang. I mean, matagal na tayo magkakilala pero we kind of share that in common. Kasi I guess yung pala yung term sa kanya, alam niyo naman si Mix, laging may bago kino-coin na term. It's called academic anxiety. No, I share a lot of that with you only because ako ay nag-aral sa isang science high school. So like, in terms of like yung academics, dapat medyo parang involuntary muscle na siya dapat sa akin. Yung dapat magaling ka sa math, sa science, sa lahat. And then when I entered college, I think nung high school, medyo nagpapakita na ng signs yung kabaklaan ko. Pero dahil mataas naman yung grades ko, nag-excel ako sa school, I guess parang my parents were kind of willing to turn a blind eye and also recognize a few of my strengths. Because okay, baka medyo babakla-bakla siya, pero as long as magaling siya sa academics, siguro okay pa. And then, the same thing happened to me nung college na yung formula ko for excelling in academics nung high school, hindi na siya nag-work sa college.
Yes, exactly.
Kasi marirealize mo sa college, mas marami palang magaling sa'yo.
Correct.
Mas marami palang talented na tao. Ang laki-laki pala ng mundo. So that was quite the awakening and the disillusioning moment for me. And then eventually, na-discover ko ang Blue Rep, ang theater. Yun po yung theater org namin. And then part of me was parang hindi ko na ma-deny yung joy na binibigay sa akin yung theater and performing na
exactly.
Like, gusto ko nang bitawan yung academic excellence.
Oh my God.
Yung dati kong identity.
Girl, yes. Parang, ano na lang ako, BS org na lang ako,
Correct.
BS theater na lang ako.
And part of me was parang really, ang laki ng guilt ko. Kasi parang, magaling naman ako sa academics, pero I was forming a new identity already. And it was quite the risk because in forming this new identity, I run the risk of low-key being abandoned by my folks.
I think that's a common Filipino queer thing actually, na parang meron tayong pressure as queer people to do more, to be more excellent. Para meron tayong na-ingrain kasi sa atin yung bakla ako pero. Kailangan dapat meron kang ganong caveat. Hindi ka pwedeng baklang matalino, baklang magaling sa ganito, baklang ganyan.
Correct.
It's always, bakla siya, pero ganito naman. Parang, you always have to counterbalance being gay with being excellent as if ang laking bawas sa qualifications mo as a person yung being bakla.
Correct. And I think we're so blessed to live in a time na nakita natin yung big shift. Kasi now, I mean, we're very lucky that we work in spaces wherein you're celebrated for being queer and medyo in a way, dahil bakla ka, ang taas tuloy ng expectation sa'yo ng tao bigla.
Correct.
Kasi ang dami mong kayang gawin. So parang medyo nasobrahan ng yung cultural shift na naabutan natin. But I'm very happy we get to live in that time now. So you mentioned kanina na you know, in your drag, doon lumalabas yung paghil ng inner child. Ako like sa stand-up ko, sa paggawa ng mga TikTok videos, doon ko nilalabas lahat ng kabaklaan ko. Kasi parang, ito yung mga hindi ko naalagaan nung bata ako eh. So now, like, patawarin natin sila at pagkakitaan natin yung kabaklaan natin. So, for me, I think I'm lucky na the profession I have parang pays the bills and kind of heals the inner child at the same time.
Yeah, and yun nga, parang you said like a cultural shift. We are very fortunate to now be able to live in a time where we can monetize this. Kasi, I guess another healing the inner child factor, kasi nung mga bata tayo, ilan lang sila.
Correct.
Ilan lang yung mga nakita nating people doing well in showbiz na bakla. Like, openly ha. Kasi alam naman natin, like, a lot of people were still a lot of celebrities and public figures during our childhoods were still kind of not allowed to talk about those things. Ako, ang pinaka-naalala ko is like, tatanda ako lang, Tito Boy, Roderick Paulate, Vice Ganda. Very few and far between na parang, siguro for the first few decades of showbiz, meron lang talagang generational markers of sino yung it-gay.
It-gay.
Sino yung it-gay of showbiz at that time.
Tama, correct.
Compared to now na parang...
There are too many it-gays.
And tsaka it becomes a bigger conversation. Parang mas marami nang nagpa-participate ng celebrities. Not just like queer celebrities, not just gay celebrities. Merong like celebrities of other sexual identities, other allies in the community na are kind of breaking down these walls, these barriers. For example like us na ngayon, pinagkakakitaan na natin to.
Correct.
Kasi when I was a kid, I never thought I could.
Yeah.
Kumbaga parang, ano nga to isa nga din to, I guess, sa mga, siguro awakenings or parang something I had to reconcile with. My mom wanted me to be a doctor. My mom finished nursing in college. And mula bata pa lang ako, even though I was always artistic, I was always told, you're gonna be a doctor. And for...
Well, you're kind of a therapist now. So medyo doktor-doktor na rin yun.
Dr. Kwakwa. Parang, ayun nga, I was always kind of raised by my parents to want to get into medicine, to want to get into becoming a doctor. And until eventually, syempre, nag-a-apply na ako for colleges. Doon ko na-realize na, that's not my thing. Parang hindi ko kayang i-force yung sarili ko to be interested in the sciences, at least to that extent, to pursue it in college. And I took arts. And I guess siguro that was another one of the reasons why I was anxious about my academics. Kasi pumili na nga ako ng course na hindi nila gusto.
Correct.
Not naman parang ayaw nila for me, pero it's not what they had in mind for me. And ayun, syempre kasi, nung bata ako, akala ko gusto ko din. Parang, syempre bata ka, sinasabi ng parents mo, dapat ganito. Syempre parang, sige, oo.
Ay, lahat ng gawin ng magulang mo, tama. And then you realize meron rin para silang inner child na kailangan i-heal.
Parang, oo ako na oo, ganyan. Kasi, I guess, it took me a while to figure out I wanted to pursue the arts because I did not know there was a future in the arts.
Ooh,
Aside from the whole like starving artist trope, walang onting-onti yung successful na queer people in arts growing up.
Sobra. I mean, naaalala ko nun when I just toyed with the idea of maybe pursuing a theater org sa parents ko, talagang hard no agad. Parang major discussion agad siya sa bahay. Because I think they were coming from fear rin naman. Na parang they wanna make sure that, we live comfortable lives in the future. Pero talaga, I was programmed to believe na pursuing a career in the arts is a lost cause. And I think the fact that we do it now is not only is it healing the inner child, but I think it's an incredibly triumphant protest against society na tipong, no, it can put food on the table. And medyo, I mean, I did corporate for 10 years. And ngayon nag-pursue ako ng career in the arts. This is the most I've ever earned. And I feel like a big part of that is I think I am just attuned to the frequency that the universe wants me to operate in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ano siya, parang you really found where you're supposed to be. You're finding where you're supposed to blossom. There's this like whole quote of like you grow not where you're planted but where you're nurtured.
Ooh! Come on! Yan ang mga quotes.
Let's go psych talk.
Alam mo, kailangan na, meron po bang publisher dyan na gustong gumawa ng libro with us?
Pero yun, parang the whole metaphor of being planted, parang di porket doon ka itinanim, yun na yung best soil, best environment for you. But you kind of have to figure out your way through life of finding where it is that your best environment is for you to excel. Parang the best people to keep in your inner circle that will help you just foster your best self. I think that's also a way of healing our inner child. Kasi hindi naman tayo, I don't think anyone was born in a perfect family.
Oh, yes.
Parang we all have our own set of family issues.
The older I get, the more I realize na parang, my parents were just really trying to figure things out on the fly.
Exactly. Parang nagkakaroon din tayo. We also like growing into adulthood. We kind of also figure out na how did I'm 27. I think I was the age when my mom had or older when my mom had my eldest sister. So parang me thinking about that now is like, how did my parents have their shit together at this age? Answer is they didn't.
Correct.
The answer is they didn't.
They just rolled with the punches.
Exactly. So parang we kind of have to give our parents grace.
Yes.
Into thinking na they were just trying to figure shit out. As unfortunately, it had, some repercussions on our psyche. But no one was born in a perfect, going back to what I was saying, no one was born in a perfect family, in a perfect environment, in the perfect environment at home. So we kind of is our job to find the place where we can be our best selves.
Yeah. Good thing you bring up environment because I believe that in healing the inner child, you also have to kind of heal the relational aspects of that inner child. So parang in as much as gusto mong i-heal yung inner child on your own, I think a big part of the healing is really including everybody who might have contributed to how everything turned out.
Yes.
So, I have had conversations with my parents na parang, Hoy, by the way, ito nga pala yung mga trauma na unconsciously binigay nyo sa akin. I mean, pinagtatawanan namin sila now. But there really was, but weird siya kasi it's kind of like a very, it's not a perfect scenario in the sense na pinagtatawanan namin siya now, but I still find myself every now and then resenting them.
Yeah.
Like, kunyari, if there is love or support that they freely give my siblings, na parang, bakit ako hindi ganyan? I can't help but parang go back to that tendency. But I think a big part nga of healing the inner child is kind of really including everyone.
Yes.
So I guess ikaw, have you started this conversation? How much of your inner child do your sisters, your mom actually know?
Well, first is with my dad. I don't have the opportunity to because I lost my dad when I was 12. My dad passed away from an aneurysm when I was 12. And nagkaroon nga ako, I think, a few years ago, when I was 24, turning 25, nagkaroon ako ng like intense period of daddy issues. Not that daddy issues, pero like issues with, having grown up without my dad. Kasi it dawned on me na as I turned 25, I would have lived a longer life without my dad than with him. Mas matagal na yung time na buhay ako without my father than with him.
Yes.
And it became a very emotional point for me. Nagkaroon ako ng mga moments na umiiyak lang ako trying to, for some reason, and din yun nga nakatawa na, I'm never gonna get these answers, but for some reason, trying to figure out, would my dad be proud of me? Of who I am today? Kasi my dad never got to know me, my queerness.
Yeah.
I was just figuring it out when I lost him. As in, parang nun ko palang na-realize na parang iba na yung attraction ko sa mga kaklase kong lalaki, all boys ko lang. So parang, as I was just trying to starting to make sense of my queerness, that's when I lost my dad. With my mom naman, I came out to my mom in high school, in my last year of high school. Kasi, with a little bit of encouragement from my siblings, because they wanted me to have the freedom in college to explore, to be more of myself. So, with the encouragement of my siblings, parang they wanted me to come out to my mom before I graduated. So, I came out to my mom in my senior year of high school, like a few months before, maybe like a month or two before graduation. And I wasn't thrown out naman. Hindi naman ako pinalayas, but it was more of and I don't blame her or anything, but it was very you're going through a phase. Usually parang you're going through a phase, and pinaka tumatak sa akin nun was she told me to act normal.
Yeah.
And it's not because my mom wanted to hurt me.
Yeah.
It's not because my mom had the intentions of hurting me in that moment, but it was more like the environment she grew up in also. Parang ano yung generation niya, ano yung pinagdadaanan ng mga bakla in her generation. She was trying to protect me from that. Not being conscious of how the world is shifting. Kasi kailan lang din naman naging bigger conversation ang
Correct.
Soji, diba?
Correct.
Naabutan ko pa nga yung Pride marches na ilang thousand lang kami nung uma-attend.
To now, record-breaking.
Diba?
Yeah.
So, it took a while for my mom to turn around. But now, my mom has been so silently encouraging of my journey. My mom was there parang basically every step of the way nung preparing for Drag Race. Girl, my mom was, for the Mountain Dew look, my mom was going around to different mga buy one, take one burger shops asking for plastic bottles. So, nagkaroon na kami ng ganong moment na my parents aren't very verbally affectionate kasi. That's why isa sa mga love languages ko is words of affirmation because I didn't experience a lot of that. But my mom really, she tries to figure out in her own way how to be of best use or parang how to be most supportive of me.
Yeah.
And parang from when I came out, I think that was in more than a decade now, parang 2013, when I came out to her in 2013, throughout the few years, especially the few years after I came out, we did have a lot of conversations na parang, what do I think of myself? Who am I? What do I want in life? Kasi naging next hurdle naman after I came out was, ang akala ng mom ko, I was gonna grow old alone with her. Diba?
So meron pa ring fear, diba?
Oo.
Ang laki ng fear component na you kind of really have to deconstruct it for both of you guys para alam nyo like which parts you're trying to heal.
Yeah, so parang it really it's still an ongoing process even with my siblings now na. Yun nga, they're much older and I'm the only parang ako lang yung kakaiba sa amin eh. All my 3 siblings, they're married with kids and 2 of them are based abroad. My brother is going back and forth from here and his job in Malaysia, ganyan. Parang ako lang yung parang kakaiba talaga ng landas.
Correct.
And I think we're all, as a family, we're all just trying to figure out what role I still play in the family given all of this. Yeah. May ganun pa ring ongoing conversations. And yun nga, in the process of healing my inner child, I have to be in the process of healing the relationships I grew up with.
Nakakakilig rin when you see your parents, your mom, kind of follow through in terms of healing your inner child. Like na-mention mo nga, tinulungan kanya dun sa Mountain Dew look. I mean, I'm sure that you must have felt incredibly supported when that happened. Ako naman sa tatay ko, alam ko, meron siyang random message sa akin like 2 years ago. Bawsi, gusto
mo... I remember mga stories mo pag nag-message yung dad mo.
Gusto mo ba tong t-shirt na to tapos yung t-shirt si Sailor Moon? Parang dahil Sailor Moon, dahil bakla ako, gusto ko na si Sailor Moon agad.
But also
yes. And then, yung nanay ko, they try to watch Drag Race Philippines para lang meron silang, like, conversation piece with me. Sabi ng nanay ko, oh my God, ang galing-galing ni Mix. Ginawa niya pala pareho yon. Tapos sabi ng nanay ko, gusto ko rin si Kiana saka si Zumba. Sabi ko, hindi. Zimba. Pero nakakatuwa lang because nag-expect sila ng effort.
Yes.
Because I really never thought, like, this day would come. I remember that when I hosted the finale of Philippines Season 1, it was such a big moment for me as a fan, as a host. Sabi ko, punta kayo kasi it's a very important night for me. And then they went. It was just parang, the universe can still surprise you, I guess, in terms of supporting you in your healing. And I think if the intentions are there, and I think we're lucky enough to have parents who are willing to be humbled by cultural shifts, by realizing that they might have made mistakes. So I think yun, nakakatuwa lang na ganun.
I mean, unfortunately, not everyone is lucky to have conversations with their parents after to repair whatever damage has been done to the relationships. Pero I think as long as parang hindi naman siya toxic, abusive relationship, as much as possible as queer people, part of, giving yourself the grace to unlearn behaviors you learned in childhood, you kind of do have to give your parents the grace also to come to terms. Kasi it also takes us as queer people a few years to get to that point. Correct. To be comfortable to come out to close friends in school, to come out to our parents, to our family at home. It takes a while for us to get to that point to coming terms with that. Tayo na yun
Correct.
Parang tayo na ngayon na alam natin kung ano yung tumatakbo sa mga utak natin. Paano pa kaya sa parents natin and sa families natin na parang they won't always understand immediately because they don't know exactly what feels like.
Correct. And I think we've also reached that age na slowly but surely nagkakaroon na ng role reversal. Na tayo na yung may mga parts na of our lives na parang our parents kind of turn to us for parenty things.
Yes.
And nakakauga siya sa start. Like kunyari if kunyari nag-away yung parents ko and then sobrang like tumultuous niya to the point na they're seriously considering separating because it might be the best decision for the whole family. But when your mom comes to you na parang, what do I do? Yun parang wait, I'm supposed to be the child here. Bakit ka humingi sa akin na advice? May mga ganong na akong moments now na hindi ko pa alam how to navigate it because again, I'm 33 and then my parents just start to look to me for advice already and feeling ko, yung inner child ko medyo kailangan niyang mag-grow up fast. Kasi parang syempre yung gusto kong ibigay na advice sa magulang ko, hindi naman yung lalong madadamage yung inner child nila. Diba?
Correct.
But with you and your siblings, kamusta ang relationship now that you are fully grown, like fully functioning adults?
Ako, ang na-observe ko sa family ko, they're just starting to finally come to terms as I'm not a child. Parang ngayon lang nila parang ngayon ko lang naramdaman na fini-figure out nila na, I'm not, kasi bunso ako And I think you as an older sibling, you kinda do have this, yung bunso is always gonna be the baby.
Ganun ako sa youngest sibling ko na parang wala akong pakialam kung nakailan jowa ka na. Basta sa akin, ikaw pa rin yung baby ko. Okay.
Correct. May parang as a bunso na experience ko yun na I think until now, part of them still sees me as a child, as a helpless child na kailangan ko ng extra bantay, ganyan. May nararamdaman akong ganun from them sometimes na whenever I do act more adult, nagugulat sila. Parang may ganun pa rin akong nararamdamang factor na, hell, I'm 27. I have been sustaining myself for the last few years since I started working. Parang hindi na po ako bata na kailangan nyo akong bantayan 24/7. Kasi parang my mom right now is in the States. My mom went with my sister to the States. And before she left, alam mo yung parang nagpa-panic mode siya as mom na, oh my God, yung anak ko may iwan sa bahay, ganyan. Parang ako, I can handle myself. Like, I'm perfectly fine handling myself. So parang may ganun pa may ganun pang, aside from me being queer, aside from me having a non-traditional job, and parang
just the whole parent-child equation.
Oo, parang, and at my age, I think my siblings were approaching marriage na Parang all my siblings got married in their late 20s, 30. I'm 27 and as of the moment, I'm still single. As of the moment.
As of the moment,
let's put a pin on that.
Kung may pinapatamaan pong tao sa episode na to, tamaan ka ng malakas kasi ikaw yon.
But yeah, I mean, I'm parang, alam mo yon, my siblings kind of followed the traditional path and they kind of fell into it easily and more naturally for them. As with me na, ayun nga, kakaiba yung life path that I'm following compared to the rest of my family who, yun nga, my parents are both married by their late 20s. All my siblings were married by their late 20s. They all have kids now. And then me, 27, like just entering my late 20s and still figuring stuff out, but also at the same time knowing exactly what I want, exactly what I want to pursue. Parang I think may times na nagagrasp pa din sila with that aspect na, oh my God, hindi na siya baby.
Gets.
Hindi na siya baby na kailangan bantayan lagi.
Gets.
Hindi na siya baby na kailangan pa niya kaming consult for all adult decisions. Feeling ko nagugulat sila at times na I am my own person. And honestly, the best person that has been coping with that is my mom, surprisingly.
I love it. And I guess when you were officially announced as a Drag Race contestant, that does a lot in terms of like their perception of you being the bunso. Kasi parang all of a sudden, you are the talk of the town, the belle of the ball, the... Ano ba bang idioms? Basta insert 3 more idioms here.
Yeah.
But diba? But I'm sure that there must have been a shift in the household. Kasi all of a sudden, now your profile is, you're very popular now. Anong na-notice mo dun sa relationships?
My eldest sister has always been the most protective.
Okay.
And as a Cancer, siya rin also yung pinaka-emotionally vulnerable sa mga kapatid ko. And she was very proud. But also, siya rin yung pinaka-may apprehensions of me becoming a public figure. Because she's so scared of what people will have to say. Because she knows that if she sees those things, she will also get hurt.
Oh my God. May ganyan akong story sa tatay ko. So, for the longest time, hindi ko ini-invite yung tatay ko sa stand-up. Kasi a big part of my bits are, I kind of medyo paint my dad as a villain.
Yeah.
Pero sabi niya sa akin, actually anak, okay lang sa akin yun. Kaya ako rin ayaw manood ng stand-up. Sabi niya sa akin, kinakabahan daw siya kasi baka daw, pag may nag-heckle sa akin sa audience, baka daw upakan niya. Ganong level. Kasi like, he feels so proud. And nung sinabi niya yun, I'm like, I'm also fully capable of like handling a heckler. But because that's where he came from, parang talagang they share that same currency, right?
I think ayun nga, parang within my family, my mom is the most evolved. Kasi I've spent the most time with my mom. It was during the entire pandemic, because basically just me and my mom a lot of the times. And sa mom ko pa yung nagulat ako sa kanya dito na, yun nga, we were talking, we were having a conversation, me, my mom, and my eldest sister. We were having a conversation one time about parang the show was about to come out and my sister was scared of like what people would have to say about me. And my mom surprised me and she was like, ganun naman talaga sa LGBT community. May mga taong sasabihin lagi tungkol sa inyo, pero basta dapat alam mo, oh my God, I'm getting emotional. Pero basta dapat alam mong proud ako sa'yo lagi. And that was that was a big healing the inner child moment for me kasi that my mom, in that moment, I saw that my mom saw me as an adult and not as a child.
Yeah.
And another one of those moments of my mom treating me as an adult is, my mom has been single, has been widowed for a decade and a half at this point, I think. Siyempre nagkakaroon ng conversations of baka may dumating sa buhay niya.
Yeah.
She's not naman actively pursuing.
Wala naman siya sa Tinder.
Wala. Hindi naman siya actively pursuing a new person. Pero nagkaroon kami ng ganyang conversations kasi I was in a relationship earlier this year. Not anymore, but I was in a relationship earlier this year. And that was the first time I ever introduced someone to my family.
Uh-huh.
And parang, I think with that, parang my mom felt more comfortable opening up the conversation of relationships. Kasi nga, at the end of the day, kaming dalawa lang naman sa bahay.
Yeah.
So I think one time she opened up the conversation with me na parang what would I feel like if there was another person. And parang ako din nag-open up ako na parang when the relationship wasn't going well, I was opening up to my mom about it. Siya talaga yung of all of my family, my mom is the most attuned to me being an adult now. And it's so heartwarming to kind of get that validation from her after yun nga, parang feeling so shameful of myself around her for the first few years that I came out. Ngayong nakikita niya, parang she sees me for who I am and she takes me for what I am, the circumstances that I live in. And yung mga ganong conversations, it's like, dun ko naramdaman na, my mom is like kahit bunso ako, kahit anak niya ako, she no longer sees me as a baby. She's finally recognizing just me as a person. And ayun, it's been that's a very healing part. Like, as growing up as a queer person, that has been very healing. And I just hope that a lot more Filipino queer people, kasi yun nga, unfortunately, hindi naman ganon yung nakakuha nating lahat. I hope a lot more queer people get to that place with their parents, with their family.
Yeah. I mean, just hearing you say that, I'm kind of like, I feel a little parang jealous that meron kang ganun, because I think I'm perfectly happy right now with my life. I have a long-term relationship, but parang naisip ko yung mga parts na I had my first heartbreak nung high school.
You never got to talk
diba?
about it.
Hindi ko nakausap yung kapatid, panganay ako, hindi ko nakausap yung magulang ko, hindi ko nakausap yung kapatid ko, or that time na parang I wanted to tell someone that I wanted to pursue performing nung college, because I think that's such an incredibly delicate time in an artist's life to decide na parang I think this might be for me. I never was able to talk to my parents about it. And I think that's also when you heal your inner child, you kind of have to take full account of every single disappointment, frustration, heartbreak that you went through and try to really honor them and heal them one by one. Yun lang din yung medyo nakakapagod sa kanya, kasi once you realize, parang ay, ang dami ko pa palang kailangan ka rin, parang mas gusto ka lang maging damaged goods. Joke lang.
I mean, it's not a complete downside.
Correct.
Pero yun yung like, siguro medyo negative aspect about healing the inner child is once you start, it's never gonna stop.
Correct. And sabi rin sa akin ng therapist ko, ang tendency ko kasi, once I parang figure out there's something for me to process or heal, I fast forward to the lesson. Because it tickles my brain to be able to tie a nice bow around the lesson. But in fact, actually, Baus, wag mong pangunahan yung lesson. Kailangan mo talaga siyang damdamin mo muna.
Pero ang satisfying talaga na parang, ito yung nangyari sa akin ng childhood. Kaya pala, nung high school ako, ganito yung nangyari. Tapos sa college ako, ganito nangyari. Tapos parang, pagtatagpi-tagpiin mo yung like, string of trauma that happened in your life from that one pivotal moment in your childhood.
And sabi sa akin ng therapist ko, actually, Baus, masyado, like, you're 3 steps ahead agad. Like, pinagkakatiwalaan na kita na intellectually, cognitively, you can make sense of that. But emotionally rin, like, if na-uncover mo, na-frustrated ka, nagalit ka, sorry, Baus, pero kailangan mong magalit at i-honor yan. Because you really have to metabolize all that tension, all that baggage you've been carrying for years before you tie a nice bow around it and make it like your next Instagram story.
Correct. Yes, exactly.
Diba?
Parang, nag-uungkat ka ng things that you buried in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
Kumbaga parang, even though it's familiar to you, it's a new present. Bago siyang binuksan mo yung baul of like a trauma na parang ilang decades mo na tinatago. Pagkabukas mo, syempre, even though it's familiar, it's all new.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have a reaction towards it. Even though it happened many, many years ago, in this moment that you're discovering na, eto pala yun.
Correct.
You're going to react. Magkakaroon ka na reaction.
And pag nakahanap ka ng trauma, meron siyang, but wait, there's more. Oh, may rejection.
Oo.
Yung inasar pala ako ng ganito. Apparently, I've been holding on to that unconsciously for years. Me growing up without my own room. Apparently, that's the thing. Like, it never stops. But I personally find a lot of joy and pleasure being able to just discover myself better. Kasi I think, as an artist, ang bala natin yung alam tayo di ba? So feeling ko the inward healing, the introspection, kahit papaano naman, it's not pointless or useless because I love it that I'm able to enter a new room, meet new people, knowing myself better, knowing my tendencies better. Para lang din I can be a better contributor kung saan naman ang kailangan sa akin when I enter new spaces.
And the best part of it, as artists, we get to use our healing our inner child as part of our creative process. The best part about it is everyone can relate to that. Everyone has an inner child they have to heal. Everyone has an inner child that they have to recognize and process. And the process of healing your inner child is very, even though we might have different sets of traumas, different sets of upbringing, I think people see through that, see through all of those differences, and nakikita nila is someone just honoring their past, their circumstances. And I think that's such an easily relatable thing, and the genuineness of you bringing that in your art helps a lot of people connect with you more easily, even though they might not be in the same life circumstances.
Yeah, and it's incredibly intimidating and overwhelming to share and be specific kasi you have to relive everything. Pero surprisingly, and I think medyo naging consistent naman, the more specific you are, the more you realize, oh my God, we're kind of in the same boat with everybody else. I mean, yun nga, varying degrees. Pero everyone is just really trying to figure things out on their own.
Yes, girl. No matter where you are in life, you're kind of, I don't think anyone can ever be like, I know for certain who exactly I am now and what I want to achieve in life and where I want to go. We're kind of, some people are just more like, okay, I have a direction.
Correct.
Ito yung gusto kong puntahan. But along the way, it's like you don't know every pasikot-sikot na pupuntahan mo.
Yeah. I mean, I think we lived in a time wherein the 5-year plans, the 7-year plans were a thing like 10, 15 years ago. And I'm like, I don't even know kung anong kakainin ko next week. Diba?
Girl, I think that's a pandemic thing there.
But that also is quite the shock to everyone.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we did not see where we are now when we started the podcast 3 years ago.
3 years ago, yes.
So parang, I think that's also like a circumstance of our generation. Ayun nga, dumaan tayo sa pandemic na hindi naman natin alam kung paano tayo next week eh.
Correct.
At that point, parang ang alam lang natin, okay, sana safe tayo today.
Yes.
Sana safe yung family ko today for this week, ganyan.
And yung podcast na to, I think for both of us, this was like a lifeline for the two of us back in, I think, August or September of 2021. Just full context lang for everybody listening. Live events or parang public life sort of came back like around July and then biglang merong Delta wave. And everyone was like, oh my God, hindi ba ito matatapos? So this particular podcast was born out of this need to just express something because like hindi namin alam kung ano na mangyayari a week from then.
And we were both entering a new venture nun eh. Parang you just started freelancing and content creating. I was just figuring out doing drag in the pandemic.
Correct.
Na parang the hardest time, actually, the most difficult period where to start doing drag, I did it, and I think we were kind of just really like in the same boat of let's figure something out together with this.
Correct. And now we're here. You're a Ru girl. Kamukha ko na si Bimbi. It all works out. It all works out. And that is it for our first episode. First of all, we did not intentionally want this to be like super lalim and deep, but this is where it took us.
Yes.
That's a great thing about Hanash. Hoy, ano bang sinasabi mo?
Correct. So if you enjoyed this conversation, of course, follow us, subscribe to all our channels. We are on Instagram. We are on Spotify, Apple
Podcast, YouTube, and sa Suking Tindahan, I guess.
Correct. Hanapin nyo kami sa radyo. Pag nahanap nyo kami doon, may award kayo.
Correct. But again, for now, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to follow us, rate, and review us. And we'll see you
Yeah, and feel free to suggest other topics that you might want to hear us talk about.
Correct. Baka kami audience questions, baka maggawa kami ng isang episode na puro mga tanong lang. Hindi namin i-commit na sasagutin namin lahat. Baka basahin lang namin yung mga tanong nyo.
Babasahin na lang namin. Hindi siya Q&A, Q lang siya. But yeah, I mean, this is now our platform to speak about things outside of Drag Race that we're also passionate about. Kasi hindi lang naman puro kabaklaan alam namin.
Well, yes and no. Anyway, we'll see you next time, guys. Bye!
The opinions of podcast creators, hosts, and guests are not necessarily reflective of the official stance of the Pod Network Entertainment, its hosts, or other network programs. The content created by the people behind the podcast is personal and not meant to harm any religion, ethnicity, group, organization, company, or individual.